Alright, we're back, of course, talk about some FF7 related stuff, but there was actually one additional thing that I seen on the Twitter feed right before hopping on to record that I felt like was worth mentioning. And it's that Geoff Keighley went to Square Enix HQ in Tokyo. So I dropped this on Twitter right before I hopped on to record that says, "What a tremendous honor to spend time today at Square Enix HQ in Tokyo with Tetsuya Namura and Naoki Hamaguchi. Namura, thank you for your ongoing support and vision in all your works, and congratulations on the release of FF7 Rebirth." And also, Hamaguchi quote tweeted that to say, "It was a very meaningful conversation with Geoff Keighley. Thank you for coming to see us." Now, clearly we don't know the nature of this meeting right now, but Geoff Keighley does run multiple gaming shows. Summer Game Fest just recently passed, and we have Game Awards at the end of the year. For one, FF7 Rebirth will be 100% Game of the Year contender, if not like kind of a lock for Game of the Year winner, right? So that could just be what this is about, just kind of talking about that shit. But also, with the Game Awards coming up, there could be, Square Enix showing some more of their games, some of their upcoming projects and things like that. Also, Geoff Keighley gets to see games and play games ahead of time. They're going to be at his gaming events. So if there is going to be something maybe shown off at Game Awards, that could have been part of what this meeting was for. So with stuff like the Game Awards, they obviously plan those shows out really long ahead of time, right? And we're already past the halfway point of the year. So if Square Enix is going to be there for more than just the nominations for Rebirth, they'd obviously be discussing that too, I would think. We're not going to deep dive too much into it because we talk about the upcoming games for Square Enix a lot on the channel, but I thought it's kind of interesting and worth talking about. It might just be for FF7 Rebirth, but I would think that you'd be traveling to Tokyo in person to meet with Square Enix for more reasons than just that, hopefully. I will say, though, according to his tweet, he did meet specifically with Namura and Hamaguchi, and the only crossover that I'm aware of that they have is for FF7 related stuff. So, again, it could just simply be for Rebirth, and that was it. Or was it for Remake Part 3? God damn it, we're getting a trailer at the Game Awards. Kidding. Hopefully not, though. That'd be kind of cool. Moving on to the FF7 related stuff, we have another sales update in regards to Rebirth, which is always very, very exciting. I know. I love talking about it. But it turns out that Rebirth is the 5th best-selling game in the US. Obviously, so far when it comes to 2024, it's kind of a weird period, though. The reporting period, if you look at the top, is from December 30th. I don't know why not the 31st. And then through to June 1st. It's kind of a weird, it's like a 5-month period, kind of 5 months and a couple days. But anyways, Rebirth is beat out by games you kind of expect to beat it. Call of Duty, a sports game with MLB The Show, and those games specifically are released on pretty much every fucking platform they can squeeze the game onto. With Call of Duty, even this year, Black Ops 6 is going to be released on last-gen hardware, so it's not a surprise that those games are selling well, and sports games in general always do very well. And then, of course, we have Helldivers 2 at number 1, and then also Dragon's Dogma 2 beating Rebirth. So if we really take a look at that top 5, sort of in Rebirth's defense, but also to its detriment, is that every game above it is multi-platform. And very few games, if any, outsell Call of Duty most years, but I think Call of Duty's kind of fallen off a little bit just because of Warzone. Warzone's free to play, right? This last year was a year where me and the boys didn't buy Modern Warfare 3, right? Because we're just interested in hopping into the new Warzone. Clearly, the Call of Duty games still sell very, very well, but I'm just saying, there's years that we skip sometimes. It just kind of depends on what, the multiplayer looks like for any given Call of Duty. But it's kind of cool to see Helldivers 2 above Call of Duty just because that game's on every possible platform, and, Helldivers 2 only had PlayStation 5 and PC. It'd be kind of interesting to see all, these top 5 games next to each other, PS5 only, though, just because that's what Rebirth is only on right now. And just kind of how their PS5 sales stack up against Rebirth. I imagine Helldivers 2 would still be number 1, of course, but I'm kind of curious how the list would look after all that. Now, moving on to the next bit of information, which is a little less exciting now that I've looked into it. It's the Crisis Core Reunion was coming to PlayStation Plus, but looking into it, it's specifically coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and or Premium. It's still perfectly fine if those are tiers that you already subscribe to, right? And you've yet to play Crisis Core Reunion, you can get the game for free this month. I was just under the impression that it was the free game for the month, or one of the free games for the month. If you have any tier of PlayStation Plus, it's still cheaper than what the game costs if you were to buy it, right? You could still pay, $15 for PlayStation Extra, which is the cheaper of the two. And you'd be essentially paying $15 to get Crisis Core Reunion. One thing that does kind of make it better in some ways than just the 1 month free thing if you join PlayStation Plus or whatever, is that it is joining the game catalog, which is kind of like PlayStation's Game Pass essentially, right? And for the foreseeable future, it'll be there for however long games stay on the game catalog. So you don't have to hop on it this month, a month or 2 or 3 or a year from now potentially. You could join PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium, whichever one you want to do, and you could download and play Crisis Core Reunion. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of other Final Fantasy games on the game catalog, which is a little surprising. Didn't know that till just now looking into it. But you do have Type 0 HD, but you also have Remake and Remake Intergrade. So if you maybe haven't hopped into the Remake project yet and you haven't played Crisis Core Reunion, then one of these months, or at least maybe sometime this month after July 16th when this all comes out, you could pay for it and download Remake and then download Crisis Core Reunion and hop into those, which would be kind of cool. I thought that was a little surprising, especially with the relationship that Square Enix has with PlayStation for the most part, right? Do you think they'd have like the older Final Fantasy games? Like, why isn't Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and like 10 at the very least on like their game catalog? Also checked out Game Pass, which I haven't had in a long time at this point, but last time I did have it, they had 7, 8, and 9, maybe even like 10, 10, 2, like HD, whatever, and also the 13 trilogy. But looking on Game Pass nowadays, they don't have a single Final Fantasy game. I mean that pretty much all the Final Fantasy games are not available on either platform's subscription service for free or whatever, which is a little strange considering how popular the games are. I wonder why that is. Either way, though, come July 16th, you can play Crisis Core Union for free if you already have PlayStation Plus Extra and or Premium alongside Remake/Remake Integrate and Type 0 HD. Now that we're kind of talking about this, I wonder when they're going to bring Rebirth to the PlayStation Plus like free game for the month sort of thing, because they did that with Remake. And it was within a year. It was less than a year. It was like the beginning of 2021. And the game obviously came out April 2020. I don't remember if it was like January, February, March, whatever. And I'm not sure how often that happens where like a game isn't even a year old yet and they're already giving it away for free on like, you know, Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or whatever the fuck. So that was really interesting when that happened. So I'm kind of curious with Rebirth if we're going to see like a similar thing. If within a year or so, they'll give the game away for free on PlayStation Plus. Anyways, though, that's pretty much the video, my dudes. It would have been a little bit shorter if not having to talk about the Geoff Keighley stuff, but that is kind of the biggest talking point from the video, realistically. So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think Geoff Keighley went to Japan for to meet with Square Enix in person and talk to Hamaguchi and Namura? And of course, the other stuff, too. What are your thoughts on Rebirth being the 5th best-selling game in the US so far this year? And also, are you subscribed to PlayStation Plus Extra and or Premium? If you aren't, are you going to do it now to play Crisis Core Union? If you are already subscribed, have you played Crisis Core Union? Are you going to play it now because it's free? Etc., etc. Anyways, that's the video, my dudes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Search in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DavidYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Low Gain or leave it like Cobain.